Suyu became famous as soon as he entered his first year of university. For a young hothead reason like, "What are you looking at?" "So, what if I'm looking at you?" He single-handedly took on 4 people in the cafeteria. And because his fighting power was too high, he naturally became the campus boss. The campus boss often grabbed my shirt, or dragged me into a corner, or blocked me in the restroom. Even a frail upperclassman girl couldn't stand to watch anymore and wanted to stand up for me. But they had no idea that when this campus boss falls in love, he's like a tube of 502 glue. He sticks to you wherever there's no one around and kisses you wherever it's quiet. Now let's hear the story. I was an ordinary rich kid, nothing special, and I also had a slight stutter. Not long after entering university, I became famous for my stutter, and Suyu became famous for fighting. We both weren't bad-looking, but by campus heartthrob standards, we were a bit short of the mark. Suyu and I weren't very close, but he was my roommate. Among the 4 people in the dorm, he was the hardest to get along with. I, however, found him the most childish. He came to university with a hand injury, and every day he'd hang his arm and do this and that. It was already a bit funny, but he always had to put on a cold, aloof expression. Did he think he was in his rebellious phase? And he still had to try to maintain an image. I reached out and knocked on his bed frame so he'd know I was talking. Earlier, our dorm leader had called him 3 times, and he hadn't reacted. His headphones were probably too loud. Of course, he didn't hear what I said either. He was successfully annoyed by my gesticulations and slowly took off his headphones. "What?" he replied. I said, "Tonight, our dorm is having a gathering to eat and drink. Do you want to come?" His lips moved as if he was swallowing something back, and finally, he coldly threw out a sentence. "No time." What? If you don't have time, then fine. Is being handsome such a big deal? What truly made me realize he was a hothead was the fight he had after his hand injury healed. I heard he took on 4 people alone in the cafeteria. The reason was, "What are you looking at?" "So, what if I'm looking at you?" The 4 opponents were neatly shoved face-first into a plate of scrambled eggs with tomato sauce. When I got back to the dorm, I happened to see him awkwardly applying antiseptic. Because the wound was on the outside of his upper arm, his movements, being unable to see or reach it properly, looked a bit funny. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. He looked up at me. "What's so funny?" I politely stopped laughing. "I thought someone as cold as you wouldn't need antiseptic. It's just a small scratch like this. Treating it like this doesn't fit your image." Note, the protagonist's stutter makes this part difficult to read, everyone. He pursed his lips tightly, still maintaining an angry expression, but speaking very childishly. "They brushed a skewer against me. I just picked out a sesame seed." It's easy to get infected. I really couldn't hold back my laughter. So, while laughing, I helped him apply medicine to the wound. Suyu was indeed a hothead, but his fighting power was impressive. I heard that those students whose faces were shoved into the scrambled eggs with tomato sauce later tried to get revenge on him, but were all beaten back. The emotions of teenagers are unpredictable. In just half a semester, all his enemies turned into friends with him. Suyu was elevated to campus boss. The campus boss was tall and lean, 188.5 centimeters, with honey-colored skin, handsome, and full of vitality, the quintessential robust and energetic athletic type. Since becoming the campus boss, he became even more sought after. Although he couldn't be flirted with, it didn't affect admiring him from afar. Whenever he participated in any sports activity, the place would be packed. Some people were there to enrich the school newspaper, others to create their own self-media channels. Occasionally, someone would gather up all their courage to try and become the boss's wife. That day, I happened to catch one such person. I was originally strolling on the sports field when I saw several upperclassmen girls run past me. Quick, quick, quick. I heard Suyu's playing basketball over there. I was suddenly excited and wanted to go and see. I had long heard that Suyu's basketball skills were legendary at school. I had seen photos of him dunking on the school forum before. They were indeed very cool. I decided to go and enjoy the live action. As a result, going early wasn't as good as going at the right time. When I arrived, someone was just confessing to him. Confessions to him weren't anything new. What was strange was that the person confessing was a boy, and it was the same boy who had publicly revealed his forum ID as Xiao Tianling a few days ago. I felt like I had arrived at a very awkward moment. He looked up and saw me, his expression unreadable. Xiao Tianling was still pouring out his affections. It's okay if you don't like me now. That's just because you don't know my good points yet. You just stand there and wait for me to win you over. Whistles rang out from all directions. The spectators, who loved a good show, gathered in a large crowd, skilled at cheering things on. Suyi, however, tilted his head and looked at me. Having a roommate on the scene at this moment was even more awkward for someone who wanted to maintain a cold, arrogant image like him. I felt like I couldn't leave and I couldn't stay. I turned to try and squeeze my way out, then thought better of it and turned back, only to see him looking at me and immediately wanted to squeeze out again. In my hesitation, I heard Suyi reply to Xiao Tianling, "I'm not single." Sighs filled the air. What a pity. I was also a bit surprised. Suyi wasn't single? He really didn't seem like it. His phone on his desk in the dorm had been sitting there for a week without being charged. What kind of relationship could save battery so well? My phone vibrated in my pocket. I answered. My stepmother was sobbing. "Qingyu. Wah. Come home quickly. Wah. What's wrong? Miss Fong, come home quickly, quickly. Wah. All right, it seemed I had to go home and deal with things. I'm from here. Staying in the dorm was just for convenience. My mother passed away from an illness when I was 4. My father married my stepmother, Fong Junya, when I was 8. Fong Junya is a kind woman who loves money. She found a rich man and takes very good care of his child. She was never bad to me in any way, except for one slightly forced point. She made me call her Sister Junya. It wasn't until I got home that I realized it was Sister Junia's and Dad's wedding anniversary, and my old man was on a business trip. This time, I definitely couldn't let him off easily. I pulled out a tissue and handed it to her. My father was normally too busy. My stepmother practically raised me, so I always clearly sided with her. After some sweet talk and comforting, Sister Junya finally stopped crying. Seeing it was late, I stayed overnight at home. The next morning, when I returned to the dorm, everyone in the room had left. I put my things down, preparing to go to class. Suyi suddenly ran back, panting, stopped, and said, "You're back." Then he began to look at me with a complex gaze. "What are you looking at? That guilty look like you just stole $8 from me." I suddenly remembered yesterday's events. This guy wasn't still awkward about yesterday, was he? How should I give him an out? I said, "Can I say I not only stutter but am also blind? Actually, I didn't see anything at all." Damn it. Why did my clumsy mouth make the atmosphere even stranger? Stupid mouth, hurry up and say something. The two of them silently stared at each other blankly for 6 or 9 seconds. He suddenly said a nonsensical sentence, "I'm single." I didn't know if it was because he ran too fast just now, but he was still panting while talking. Huh. I didn't know how to respond to that. He repeated, "I said I'm single." I thought simply, he probably heard Xiao Tianling wanting to win him over and said something random to avoid trouble. So now he's bringing this up as a key point. Is that the effect he wants? Some things don't really need to be addressed, just don't mention them. Got it. I put on an understanding expression and nodded. Got it, I know. So you came back because you forgot something? Suyi scratched his nose and looked around. Right, I forgot my phone. What? When do you ever not forget your phone? Sister Junia's birthday happened to be on the weekend. I followed the address my dad gave me to the restaurant, but I didn't expect the server who led me to the private room to be Suyi. "Are you working here part-time?" I asked as I went upstairs. "Yeah." I then understood why he was constantly appearing and disappearing throughout the day. He clicked his tongue. "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." At the private room door, I asked him, "What time do you get off work? Do you want to go back to school together later?" Sister Junya heard my voice and poked her head out of the room, calling me. "Stuttering boy. You're here." "Yes." I answered Sister Junya and turned back to wait for Suye's reply, only to find that for some reason, he suddenly frowned deeply. "I get off work after you finish eating. We'll go back together," he said, then turned and left. Does this person get hothead syndrome when he meets strangers? Why did he look so upset when he said he wanted to go with me? Who is that handsome young man just now? As soon as I entered the private room, Sister Junia started asking. My roommate. I picked up a piece of fruit and put it in my mouth. Your roommate must be quite poor, huh? What? I can't agree with that. Is someone poor just because they do a little part-time work? Miss Fong, please pay attention to your values. Oh no, it's not that. Sister Junia casually reapplied her makeup. Didn't my car get a little scratched that day? I went to get it repaired and saw him working at that auto repair shop. Huh. I was surprised. How do you remember so clearly? No choice. Too handsome. It's hard not to look a few extra times when he's around arching you. I was a little astonished. Was Suyu having some difficulties? Did he need to work so many jobs? The restaurant wasn't far from the school. After dinner, Suyi and I walked back, which took about 20 minutes. Actually, I found it a bit strange. I get off work when you finish eating? What kind of getting off work mechanism is that? But maybe it was just a coincidence. Surely he didn't ask for time off just to walk with me? From his current expression, it didn't seem like it either. All the way, Suyu kept a cold face and said nothing. Normally in the dorm, it was fine. But if he stayed silent like this now, then why bother walking together? Wouldn't it be better if everyone went their separate ways? After walking for nearly 10 minutes, I really couldn't hold it in anymore and cleared my throat. As I was about to speak, Suyu suddenly stopped, turned to look at me, and asked irritably, "Who was that woman?" I was stunned. Oh, my stepmother. Stepmother. He had a serious expression. Yeah. He pursed his lips and sighed through his nose. No wonder. What? He looked at me intently, and it was a long time before he spoke again. Don't take it to heart. Stepmother, stepmother, she's not your real mother, is she? My first reaction was just to laugh. What are you laughing at? His eyebrows furrowed even tighter into a shape. You don't have to force a smile. You can be sad. He spoke so seriously, in a way I had never seen before, so he was comforting me. I was momentarily a bit dazed. Chu Qingyu, he gently called my full name. Oh my god, this hothead campus boss has another side to him? I thought I generally knew what he meant. You mean, she called me stuttering boy? Yeah. He snorted, his face full of emotion, looking a bit adorable. I smiled. I speak a bit slowly. Don't be anxious. He was unusually gentle. So I began to explain to him. It was roughly Sister Junia's fight fire with fire method of education. Since I was little and called stuttering boy, when I was 10, I even cried snot bubbles. Sister Junia ran around dealing with all the parents of those ill-mannered children, and then, for no reason at all, she'd call me stuttering boy. She said she wanted me to face the word directly, not to avoid it, which is why I was later able to truly feel nothing about other people's mockery. He listened, said nothing, still frowning and looking at me, not sure what he was thinking, but he was clearly unhappy. I really wanted to tease him. Thank you, Basu. Thank me for what? Thank you for caring about your roommate's mental health. The healthy growth of this little plant is thanks to your watering. After saying that, I couldn't make him laugh, and his expression became even harder to read. Watering. Suyu took a deep breath, then strode forward again. Hurry up. Hey, wait for me. This hothead really doesn't understand jokes. After that day, the idle, cold, and arrogant campus boss, Suyi, gave me a few smiles. Although he was still cold and cool in front of others, behind the scenes, he finally showed some sincerity as a brother. On rainy days, he would come to the library to bring me an umbrella. On Wednesdays, he would go to the limited item food window to help me get food. I had to do some speech therapy exercises privately, so I had to talk a lot. He would often prepare various flavors of lozenges for me. He became my first brother at university. I became the only person at university who had his contact information. That night, seeing that the dorm was about to close and Sui still hadn't returned, I called him. But someone else answered the phone. It was a colleague from the restaurant where he worked part-time, who said he got into a fight and was taken to the hospital. I quickly rushed to the restaurant to get his phone first, then asked the colleague which hospital he was at. In the taxi, I clutched his phone, feeling inexplicably angry. I heard he was cut with a knife and bled a lot. Is this person's youth for wholesale? Why does it never end? He's so old. Why does he always have to use fighting to solve problems? Rushing to the hospital's emergency room, I asked around and finally saw C in the 4-drip hall. My heart, which had been hanging in the air, finally settled. Good. The hospital didn't even give him a bed, which meant it was nothing serious. He looked at me with a bit of surprise. Why are you here? I opened my mouth and immediately started scolding. Are you a stutterer? He was stunned. Hey, don't you have a mouth? Is it that hard to use your mouth to explain things when there's a problem? Is it harder than for me? Why do you have to use your fists? If you're going to use your fists, you have to make sure you don't get hurt, you idiot. He seemed dumbfounded by my scolding, his eyes wide, and I got even angrier. What are you looking at? If acting cute was useful, why are you getting in 4-drip? His expression was complex. After a long time, he blinked and grinned, saying, Qingyu, why aren't you stuttering anymore? He said that, and I realized. I had just said a long string of words like a machine gun. It really was like a machine gun. Isn't it because you made me so mad? All right, it's back again. C looked at me and probably found it very amusing. After the 4-drip was done and we left the hospital, he kept laughing. I was too lazy to argue with him. We couldn't go back to the dorm, so no surprise, the only option was to rent a hotel room. C suddenly stopped laughing. Rent a room? His reaction surprised me. So, what about renting a room? My friend, did you forget? We sleep in the same room every day anyway. So how could it be different? He even blushed a little. I remembered his awkwardness when he was confessed to. Did he remember it too? I made up my mind. Go ahead and resist. Who told you to fight and make me unhappy? I'm definitely renting this room today. After a long time, C even ground his teeth before seemingly making up his mind. The room we rented was a standard twin room, really no different from a dorm. After entering the room, I wanted to check his wound. Because the wound was on his abdomen, I couldn't see it at the hospital. I thought since we had been roommates for so long and our relationship was genuinely not bad, it must have reached the point where I could lift his shirt and look at his stomach. But he pressed my hand down. What's there to see? It's just a small cut. I raised an eyebrow at him. Don't have abs? He was stunned. I do. If you do, then what's so scary about looking? I thought you were afraid your image would crumble. He gave a wry smile, shook his head, and said, "You," then obediently lifted his shirt himself. He said it wasn't a big cut, but blood still seeped through the gauze. I leaned down to examine it carefully, not even daring to breathe too hard for fear of hurting the wound. It must hurt like hell, right? Why do you always have to fight? Do you just like fighting? I couldn't help but mumble aloud. Suya's breath hitched, and he turned to go towards the bathroom. I'm going to take a shower. That startled me. Are you sick? Like this? What shower? There's blood on me, it's uncomfortable. What? Bear with it. Can't bear with it. The bathroom door slammed shut with a bang, locking from the inside. He really was stubborn. I sighed, walked over, and knocked a few times. Or I can help you. Can you do it yourself? I can. I'll avoid the wound. His voice was finally muffled by the sound of water from the shower. He really was strange. While he was showering, I asked a friend to bring 2 new sets of clothes. A rich kid would have some resourceful friends who don't sleep in the middle of the night. This wasn't very strange, but it still surprised Z a bit when he came out after showering. You. He laughed. Are you Cinderella? To conjure up new clothes at this hour. I didn't agree. Cinderella, but with an MS, too. Do I look like a girl? You look very considerate. Z said indifferently while drying his hair. It made my ears burn. Can the word considerate be used so casually? Z dried his hair, then suddenly came closer and called me. Qingyu. What? He stared at me for a while, staring until I felt a bit guilty. What's wrong? Actually, I don't fight often. I don't understand anything. The hotel's warm lighting made his expression even gentler. I don't fight often. The hand injury when I first entered university was from my dad. That time I had a stomach ache and lay down for 2 days was because my dad kicked me. Today this knife cut was also from my dad. It was as if someone had squeezed my throat. I opened my mouth for a long time, unable to speak. It wasn't until Sui reached out and gently smoothed my furrowed brows with his thumb that I asked hoarsely, "Why?" Sui smiled. "It's a melodramatic story. A few years ago, my mother died in a car accident, and my dad's mental state became a bit agitated. Sometimes he doesn't recognize people and will see me as the cause of the accident." He sighed helplessly. "When he sees me, his emotions get a bit agitated. That's why I ran out to live in the dorm. Normally, my uncle takes care of him, but recently, for some reason, his condition has been getting worse. Today, he even followed me to the restaurant." So, he sighed softly. "I originally didn't want to put him in a mental nursing home, but after today's incident, this might not be up to me anymore. The police have taken him away now. In a couple of days, I'll probably have to take him to complete the admission procedures." So that's why Sui needed to work so many part-time jobs, because he had to go to school and also pay for his father's medical expenses. My heart felt like it was being pricked by countless small thorns, starting to ache intensely. For a moment, all my words became bland and powerless, let alone the fact that I already spoke unclearly. I instinctively hugged him. This was the only comfort I could offer him at that moment. But my own tears, they just couldn't stop. After being comforted by Sui for half the night, I finally fell asleep. The next morning, there were no classes, so I woke up and went downstairs to get breakfast to bring back to the room so the injured person wouldn't have to move around. Sui ate and laughed. "I have an abdominal injury. What's wrong with walking a few steps?" I also laughed. "Might as well be Cinderella all the way. This breakfast isn't missing anything." I thought, since we're brothers, I should treat him a little better, even better. After breakfast, we prepared to go back to school. As I was bending down to put on my shoes by the door, my phone on the nightstand rang. Sui glanced at it and said it was Sister Junia calling, so I told him to put it on speaker for me. As soon as the speaker was on, I couldn't even get a word in. "Stuttering boy, have you been upset about anything recently? Who's been bullying you? Tell Mom. Mom will definitely go beat them to death. Don't keep anything to yourself, it'll hurt your health." I listened, completely bewildered. "I'm not upset about anything, Mom." Sister Junia's voice immediately got louder. "Don't lie to Mom anymore. I heard everything from little Zhang. Recently, you've been smashing cars whenever you get upset. You've smashed that car window 8 times already." I fled, almost tripping, with one shoe still not on. I snatched the phone from Suya's hand and quickly turned off the speaker. "I'm really fine, Mom. I'll call you back later, okay? Gotta hang up now. Bye." Then I clasped my hands behind my back, smiling faintly and silently looking at Sui. He was also smiling faintly, silently looking at me. After a long while, he finally spoke. "Not bad. What you just said was very fluent. Damn it, it's possessed. Why is my stutter so strange? The more stressed I am, the more fluently I speak. But is that the main point right now? So you knew I also worked at the auto repair shop?" Suya's expression became serious. "Yeah." He took 2 steps closer. "Those sports cars whose windows were smashed recently, you drove them in, and you specifically asked me to fix them." My breath caught for half a beat. "I'm sorry." This must have made him lose so much face. At the time, I didn't think much. I just wanted him to earn a little more money. "Chu Qingyu." He called my full name again, and he was now in front of me. I took 2 steps back, cornered by him against the wall by the door. "Why are you treating me so well? Are you pitying me?" "No." "Then why?" "Why?" "Chu Qingyu." I could even hear my own heart pounding. Thump thump, thump thump. "Why?" Thump thump, thump thump. How should I answer? Because after seeing Xiao Tianling confess to you, I felt a strange emotion, and then out of curiosity, I explored some areas I had never touched before. Because I don't just see you as a brother, but also have some feelings for you that even I can't understand. If I say that, will we not even be brothers anymore? It's all my fault for not thinking things through and messing things up. C saw that I didn't say anything and his eyes grew more anxious. I didn't dare to look into his eyes, only heard him panting, surely very angry now. He spoke again, his voice carrying a hoarse, suppressed tone. Do you know why I didn't say I had a girlfriend when that guy first confessed to me? Didn't you say it? My mind stopped working. I said I wasn't single, not that I had a girlfriend. Is there a difference? Of course there is, because I won't have a girlfriend. Siyu took a deep breath. I only have a boyfriend. So that's why you refused. Wait, what? A boyfriend? I couldn't believe it. I looked at Suyi, and he stared back at me without blinking. Then I heard him say, Chu Qingyu, I've liked you for a long time. I was stunned in place, forgetting to speak, forgetting to breathe. Siyu placed one hand on the door, a very hothead-like pinning against the wall move, but at this moment, I felt very much enjoying it. Qingyu, if you don't push me away now, you'll never be able to push me away again. A simmering fire hid in the depths of his eyes, his voice, coming from his throat, was already hoarse and indistinct, still making a final confirmation. His voice made my throat dry. Push what away? I pulled the drawstring on his hoodie, pulling him closer, and directly kissed him. The silhouettes on the wall overlapped, a fiery first kiss carrying the hurried breaths of wildly beating hearts. Fortunately, I remembered to try and control myself, not pressing down on his wound. An embrace like this, once it begins, cannot be stopped. From then on, Siyu seemed to suffer from a condition where he couldn't get enough energy without a kiss. In the morning, he had to kiss me after everyone in the dorm left. At night, he had to kiss me after everyone in the dorm fell asleep. In the supply room, he'd pull me into a corner and kiss me. When picking him up from work, he'd drag me into a narrow alley and kiss me too. He was the big, fierce campus boss, and I was the stuttering boy who looked very easy to bully. Not long after, a strange rumor spread around the school. I was being bullied by Suyi. How unreasonable. One day, I was suddenly grabbed by an upperclassman girl. She looked frail but spoke very righteously. Junior Chu, many people experience bullying. You absolutely mustn't feel ashamed, and you definitely mustn't let others manipulate you. She continued, our student council has an anti-bullying group. Just bravely join it, and all of us will help you. I was caught between laughter and tears. I'm really not being bullied. The upperclassman girl was extremely anxious. Hiding is useless, Junior Chu. Someone saw you being dragged into the school's small grove several times by Siyu. And once when you came out, there was even blood on your lips. Such heavy-handedness, if that's not bullying, what is? Suyi, are you a dog? Be gentle. In the dorm, I said to Suyi, who was once again taking the opportunity to recharge, a vague reminder. He gasped for breath while changing his rhythm. What did you say? My breathing also became chaotic. I said, be gentle. He touched my forehead with his, unable to hold back a laugh. What? What's so funny? Your words. He pursed his lips and grinned, looking at me for a long time. Nothing. He put one hand on my lower back and pinched my ear with the other. Before kissing me again, he said, later, when I need to be gentle, I definitely will be. Huh. This cold, arrogant guy is truly sly. He's all talk. I declare his image has collapsed. Secret love affairs are the most exciting, but clandestine intimacy is also the easiest to get caught. Today, we were seen sneaking into the small grove. Tomorrow, we'd be caught fighting over the restroom. Today, the dorm leader finally anxiously pulled me to a secluded spot, his expression extremely serious. Qingyu, are you okay? I'm fine. What's wrong? The dorm leader's face showed an unspoken difficulty, but he finally took a deep breath. He made up his mind and said, Siyi, is he really bullying you? No, he's not. This is strange to me. Other people saying it was one thing, but normally Suyi and I had a very good relationship in the room. We were good brothers. The dorm leader must have seen it, only to see him frowning. If he's not bullying you, then he might want to court you. What? The dorm leader quickly comforted me. Don't rush, I'm just guessing. Last night, I got up to go to the bathroom and saw him secretly kissing you, and what's more, he kissed the corner of your mouth as he twitched his lips. I tried to hold back my laughter, wanting to say, what's wrong with lips? I even put my tongue out. But I was afraid of scaring this innocent yet enthusiastic straight male dorm leader. So I used more subtle words. Dorm leader, do you mind if there's a gay person in the dorm? He just needs to not secretly kiss me, that's all. I nodded, smiling politely. If you don't mind one person, you surely won't mind two, right, dorm leader? Just like that, I neatly came out about my sexual orientation. Don't say anything, I was even a little happy. I was about to call Suyu to tell him when he happened to call me. Little Qingyu, didn't I tell you already? No more smashing cars. I didn't smash anything. Then why is your family's sports car here again? I quickly ran to the auto repair shop to check. It was indeed my family's car. Both car window panes were smashed. To deliberately smash a car like that and then bring it here for repair, no need to ask, it was definitely Sister Junia style. I called her and Sister Junia answered immediately. Stuttering boy, looks like you were waiting for me, huh? I was too lazy to beat around the bush. Why is it like this, Mom? Car, what car? That's a closet, isn't it? A wardrobe. See? Mom smashed the closet door. Haha. Life is just one closet after another. You get out of one closet and there's another. Sister Junia directly booked a table at a restaurant for the weekend, inviting Suyi and me to come along. Because I came out a bit suddenly, even I wasn't mentally prepared, so I had no idea what Sister Junia's attitude would be. But we had to face it anyway. Dealing with it early was good. Suyi seemed even more nervous than me, constantly fidgeting with my fingers on the way there, which I found amusing. Getting out of the taxi, I pulled him to an empty billboard and quickly gave him a quick kiss. Don't be nervous. No matter what, it's fine as long as I don't abandon you. His tense nerves relaxed a bit. He reached up and ruffled my hair a few times, making it messy, then carefully straightened it again. Entering the private room at the restaurant, Sister Junia was sitting upright, her expression unreadable. I followed the procedure of introducing the two of them to each other. Sister Junia pursed her lips and smiled, still saying nothing, which made me a little scared, let alone Suyi. Miss Fong, please say something. Sister Junia held back for a long time before letting out a sigh. Oh, I'm dying of embarrassment. I'm not going to pretend anymore. Wasn't I just thinking about where to meet my daughter-in-law or son-in-law? She was flustered. Oh, well, I just wanted to maintain a bit of solemnity, that's all. Suyi and I looked at each other. Actually, I just wanted to find a hole to crawl into, but the good news was that Sister Junia didn't seem to object. Overall, this meal made me feel completely unnatural, constantly feeling like I was being defined by certain attributes. Suyu said with a bit of remorse, with my current capabilities, I probably can't give Qingyu a better life yet. Sister Junia said indifferently, it's okay, you're still a student. Suyu said confidently, but it won't be long. I can definitely give him everything he wants. Sister Junia waved her hand generously. Don't worry, until then, we'll take care of him for you. May I ask, what about my dad? Regarding my preference for men, my father initially had some opinions. But through Sister Junia's tireless persuasion and daily education about the normalcy and rationality of same-sex love, my father finally accepted it. Suyu's life actually didn't have too much financial pressure. The last time the car-smashing incident was discovered by him, he had told me a lot. His father had enough savings to cover the costs of the nursing home for a very long time. He only needed to earn enough money for his own tuition fees through his part-time jobs. Therefore, he told me not to waste money smashing cars. Peaceful days passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was our 3rd year of university. The story versions of Suyi and I silently shifted from being bullied to being bent, bullied, kept and bent, and various other strange and dramatic versions. But I never expected that one day, a truly melodramatic event would actually occur. I suddenly couldn't contact Suyi. WeChat messages went unanswered, phone calls went to voicemail. I went to all the places he worked part-time, and they all said they hadn't seen him. I was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. I had never encountered this situation before. As I paced, my phone kept beeping and someone finally answered. It was the voice of a middle-aged man. Hello, are you a friend of the owner of this phone? Yes, I am. Sir, why is the phone in your hand? His voice was very flustered. I'm at a haunted escape room. Your friend went missing in my haunted house. When we cleaned up, we found this phone at the scene. What the hell? I was completely speechless. What kind of trick was this CU playing? What kind of act was this? But if he wanted to play, I'd play along with him. I went to the haunted house to get the phone. I originally thought the owner would continue with some kind of procedure. But the owner's face was terrified, and his voice even trembled. How about we call the police? My head buzzed. What did you say? Call the police. A living, breathing adult just vanished like that. We can't bear this responsibility. I couldn't believe my ears. What kind of joke are you playing? Do you think this is a horror movie? How can a perfectly fine person just disappear? But looking at the owner's demeanor, he really didn't seem to be joking. He showed me the surveillance camera at the entrance first, then the surveillance cameras inside the haunted house. CU was pulled into a wardrobe by a ghost and truly never came out again. Nonsense. Aren't all your ghosts NPCs, non-player characters? How can this happen? I started to shout in exasperation. They are NPCs, but among our NPCs, there's no such type of ghost. The owner became more and more frightened as he spoke, his voice and body trembling incessantly. I didn't have time to think much and went straight into the haunted house to find that wardrobe. Now, the haunted house was brightly lit, with no spooky atmosphere at all. I carefully checked if there was any secret door in the wardrobe. I still couldn't believe such a strange thing had happened. Suyi, stop messing around, come out quickly. No one answered. Suyi. I punched and kicked the wardrobe, making a clattering noise, and then searched other boxes and cabinets. If you don't come out, I'm going to get angry. I remembered how he often said he wasn't sleeping well lately. That day, he dreamt of a ghost and even wanted to sleep in the same bed as me. I didn't agree. Come out now. I agree to let you sleep with me, okay? No one answered. When I had searched every possible space where someone could hide, searching many times without results, I had no choice but to believe that C wasn't playing a trick. No one would joke like this. Tears could no longer be held back. I stood there helplessly, experiencing the taste of loss for the first time in my life. Actually, there was one other time, when my mother passed away. I was young then and didn't clearly remember my feelings at the time, but the fear and confusion now dragged me back to that night when I was 4 years old. The small child didn't even understand what death was, thinking her mother had suddenly fallen asleep and kept calling out, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy." My mother never woke up again, and the child seemed to get stuck in those calls, becoming a stutterer from then on. At this moment, my voice was hoarse, and I called out again and again, "Suyi, Suyi, Suyi." I couldn't accept a living, breathing person suddenly disappearing, just as I couldn't accept my mother suddenly falling asleep. Why? Why did something like this happen? I don't know how long passed. I must have cried and screamed a lot of words. Suddenly, I felt a solid chest press against my back, and then a warm embrace enveloped me. "I'm sorry, Qingyu, I'm sorry." I frantically turned around. "Suyi." I punched him in the chest. "Are you sick? Why did you scare me like that?" He endured 2 punches without saying anything, tears also streaming from the corners of his eyes, and held me tightly in his arms. I'm sorry. It was all Sister Junia's fault for tricking me, saying she wanted to scare you a little to help you recover your speech. The doctor also said that your language system is a reaction to psychological trauma and might need some special intervention. I was wrong, Qingyu. He kept gently stroking my back up and down, constantly apologizing. After I finished sobbing, Sister Junia poked her head out from who knows where. 2 handsome young men, excuse me for a moment. The doctor is still waiting at the coffee shop next door. How about you, Mr. Chu? Go over there first so the doctor can take a look. You can come back and settle accounts with me later. It was truly a grand play. Sister Junia conspired with Suyi and bribed the haunted house owner, and she even feared that something unexpected might happen to me, so she had a private doctor ready. After being examined by the doctor, my language system seemed to genuinely be miraculous. It suddenly returned to normal. The doctor rambled on with a bunch of theories about cause and effect. Basically, it was miraculous yet logical. After scheduling a follow-up hospital visit for the next day, Suyi and I prepared to return to school. All the way, I was a little excited. I'm cured, aren't I? I don't stutter anymore, do I, Suyi? Suyi, 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 Suyi. La 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 la. See, I can la 8 times now. Before, I could only la 3 times. With swollen, red eyes, I hopped back and forth like a transformed rabbit. C laughed continuously. Yes, you can even la 12 times. I momentarily forgot my image and directly hooked my arm through his in the middle of the street. Yes, I can even la 20 times. C suddenly stopped walking. What's wrong? I stopped in confusion, following him. Suye's breath hitched. You just threw out one word, he said, then pulled my wrist and smoothly turned me around. I looked up, damn it, why was there a hotel in front of me? Standard twin room? The hotel receptionist asked. King bed, C said concisely and decisively. My head, which was pretending to play with my phone, sank even lower. The moment the room door closed, C kissed me like a storm. When I tilted my head to speak, he directly blocked my lips with his tongue, not waiting. After a long time, he gently bit my lower lip, his breathing heavy. Qingyu, you crying today broke my heart. My hand, resting on his waist, pinched him. Only you could think of such a childish idea. I'm such an idiot for believing it. Kiss, 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 kiss. When he was idle, he remembered something else and said, from today onwards, you have to sleep with me, right? You just said that as long as I came out, you would sleep with me. Isn't that right? He chuckled hoarsely and wickedly. Why did you turn back into the stuttering boy? Outtakes. Days before entering his first year, C was beaten by his father again. He felt very speechless but also helpless. He arrived at the dorm with his arm in a sling, and there was only one person in the room. Chu Qingyu was very cheerful and wasn't curious about Suye's arm injury. He just saw that Suye's hand was inconvenient and helped him with many small tasks. After his hand injury healed, Suye went home and was accidentally kicked by his father. Suye shook his head. This karate father of mine, I'm afraid he wants to kick me to meet my mother. Fortunately, Suye had some martial arts foundation and managed to avoid some of the force, so he wasn't injured internally. He lay in the dorm for 2 days, and Chu Qingyu brought him 3 meals a day, all warm, nutritious liquid food for his stomach. Suye secretly thought, this stomach ache is different from that stomach ache. Actually, I want to eat meat. But he didn't say anything and obediently drank millet porridge for 3 days, 9 meals, so hungry that his stomach stuck to his back. Chu Qingyu was very warm, like a gurgling stream under the sunlight, suddenly brightening Suye's originally somewhat gloomy life. He had always liked boys, but he had never thought he would truly like a boy. But when he found himself wanting to use the word adorable to describe Chu Qingyu, Suye knew he was done for. His headphones had just finished a self-study session about his father's condition when Suye saw Chu Qingyu's face suddenly flash into his line of sight. Do you think you're in your rebellious phase? And you still have to try to maintain an image. Chu Qingyu's words carried a mischievous criticism that surprised Suye a little. What? Suye took off his headphones and asked. I said tonight, our dorm is having a gathering to eat and drink. Do you want to come? He switched to a very friendly, slightly adorable, inquiring tone of a roommate. Too adorable, but no time. He still had to go to his part-time job after class. Because Chu Qingyu was too handsome, a few days later, an upperclassman girl publicly confessed to him. Because of this, his stuttering problem was also revealed in front of everyone. Not long after, many unpleasant rumors spread around the school. That day, C went to the cafeteria and heard a few upperclassmen boys whispering. A. Oh, I heard that freshman who rejected our goddess stutters. B. So what if he stutters? He stutters, but he has money at home. C. Yeah, and he's a campus heartthrob too. I think he's more like a bamboo heartthrob, one segment at a time. The 3 of them laughed so hard that the rice in their mouths almost sprayed out. C clenched his fists, showing no expression, and went to the window to get half a portion of rice, eating it alone in a corner. He waited until he saw the 4 people around him were completely surrounded by others, ensuring they couldn't speak nonsense anymore. Siyi walked straight up to them, standing in front of them. What are you looking at? So, what if I'm looking at you? Before they could react, Siyi, with one hand on each head, shoved the faces of two of them into a plate of scrambled eggs with tomato sauce. A series of moves as swift as a tiger, and half a minute later, the remaining two heads were also in the eggs. That's the end of the story. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to support me.